First thing I want to start off with is a question for all of you. If for some reason you were to see a soldier or an individual jump off the top of the building, would you think that was fun? No. That's not the reaction I was going for. Alright, the topic we're going to talk about is suicide and suicide. Alright? How many of y'all know what suicide is? Okay, put your hand down. A brief explanation of it is someone, an individual who does something to try to harm himself. Okay? There's a lot of different things that you can do for suicide. Alright? There's different types, there's different forms. Alright, some statistics. For the civilian, in the civilian world, research has shown that anywhere between 10 and 20 people a day try to commit suicide. Okay? For the Army side, every 91 seconds, a soldier tries to kill himself for whatever reason. Okay? So, some different forms of suicide is you can have suicide note, you can have suicide gestures, which could be anywhere from, doing this, trying to say you want to hang yourself, something like that. There can also be a suicide attempt, which is where you can either try to overdose on pills, or you can try to asphyxiate yourself, hanging yourself, jumping off a building, tying yourself to something to hang yourself. Okay? Or cutting yourself to the point where you're going to bleed to death. Alright? And the last one is suicide threat. Now some soldiers, some individuals cannot handle stress the same way that others do. Okay? So I might be a person that can handle stress. It might take a lot to stress me out to the point where I want to do something to myself and someone else. For some people, it might not be like that. You might wake up, have one little thing happen, and you have a bad day, and the first thing you think about is doing something to yourself. So the biggest thing is to try to find out who those kind of people are. So that's where we have to pay attention to how they act. The next thing is, once you see that someone has suicidal tendencies, what do you think that you should do? Tell somebody, right? So we probably shouldn't blow it off and not do anything about it. Regardless of if it turns out to be factual, or if it turns out to be that the soldier maybe is just doing it to get attention, you should probably tell somebody, right? Okay, so after we tell somebody and we've established that they have a problem, there's a lot of different things in the Army that you can do. You can go see the captain, you can see your first sergeant, you can see your commander, you can seek outside sources that the Army has. Army has a thing called Army One Source. That will learn more of that once you graduate and go on to your unit. They have actual counselor. You can call 1-800 number, and they will have a counselor call you. You can set up appointments to talk to them. Okay? You can also go over and you can seek medical help at the hospital. They'll take you in there. They'll sit you down. The psychologist will talk to you, figure out what the problem is, and then they'll take the next steps after that. Okay? Now, the biggest thing that y'all should not do is, A, if you think that someone is suicidal, or you've seen them do something, talk about it, whatever, okay, you go tell somebody, right? So we probably don't want to sit there, make fun of the soldier, go around, make comments, because that's not going to do anything but what? Make the situation worse, right? The biggest problem with people not wanting to come forward and admit that they have a problem is the repercussion that they face when they're here. If I'm a person that is suicidal, I am most likely not going to seek help because I fear that all my peers are going to look at me as if I'm a weak person. I can't handle stress, I can't handle the situation, so my escape route is to kill myself. Okay? Y'all will see soldiers in the Army, whether it be basic training, AIT, maybe you never deploy, you'll still see soldiers that just can't handle it. But you're going to see the majority of it when they deploy back from Iraq, wherever it's in, okay? Maybe they were deployed, they had a relationship that failed, maybe they were married, their spouse cheated on them, maybe somebody died in their family, whatever it be. So the biggest thing that y'all have to remember is that we put you in battle buddy teams for a reason. So if you start to notice that your battle buddy is showing signs and symptoms, you need to go tell somebody. Okay? You're not a professional. You can always talk to that soldier, talk to that person, and you can try to help them. But if you feel that it's out of your control and you can't do anything for them, you need to tell somebody. Because if I knew that my battle buddy had a problem, and I don't go tell somebody, and then tomorrow morning I come and they've already freaking killed themselves, I'm probably not going to feel very good about myself. I'm probably now going to have a crisis that I have to deal with myself personally. Because I failed to get that person help. So y'all need to make sure that you watch each other and police each other out. Okay?
Yes, Mr. Sergeant.
Anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything they would like to add? Okay? What?
I do have a question, Mr. Sergeant. A person, let's say, may not be willing to deal. I guess their problems, and they may not be willing to communicate because of fear of repercussions. What is the repercussion of someone who is suicidal? They would probably, obviously, not be allowed to have weapons. They would probably terminate their career in the Army. And
yes and no. If a situation like that arises, and let's say one of y'all would like to say that you want to harm yourself, first thing we would do would be take away your weapon. Next thing we would do would be take away anything that you could possibly use to either harm yourself or another soldier. And then we will get you to a professional that can help you. Now, it might be a situation where you had maybe a childhood traumatic incident that happened. It has haunted you up to this point. Maybe a professional can help you. They can help you to get rid of the problem, and maybe you can continue on, and it'll be like it never happened. But there are some times that soldiers they just cannot handle stress, and that's when we send them home, because we can't allow them to be here for either themselves or the rest of y'all, because we just can't allow that. So, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Anybody else?